everyone, welcome back to another Beyblade Burst Sparking or Super King unboxing, and my triple booster set has arrived and I am so happy about it. B-171 triple booster set with Tempest, Dragon, a naked Diabolos, and another version of Cursed Satan. So take a moment to get a glimpse of what they look like on the front there, and we'll go to the back for our listed parts. So starting on the left here with the big guy himself, Tempest, Dragon. So we've got our Dragon sparking chip, and then down to our ring, the Tempest ring, which features a gimmick. And then we've got our chassis, so double chassis, the 1A chassis, so one attack. And then a new part here is the charge metal driver. And let's move on to Cursed Satan. So as I said, it's a different version of him. So we've got our Satan sparking chip and the curse ring. Then we've got 1D, a single chassis, and the Aero Dash disc core. And for our driver is Hold Dash. So I haven't got a hold driver yet, so that's going to be awesome. A dash version as well. And finally, naked Diabolos with our Diabolos GT chip. So it is a GT bay. We've got the naked layer, and then down to our weight. So the Goku weight, that is a really rare one. And the disc core is 11, and another new driver, the wave driver. So all in all, pretty wicked. There's a little graphic of that gimmick we do get on the Tempest ring. But yeah, that is it for the packaging. Let's get this thing opened up. So that's everything out of our packaging, and we do have a fair few stickers to put on. So let's get that over and done with before we move on to the review. That is all of our stickering on, and we're going to start this off with the main bay from this triple booster set, Tempest Dragon. So here is his chip and ring, very much in the same color style as Imperial and Ace Dragon with that gold on white. Then we've got the rainbow stickering, which reminds me of that rainbow turbo mode we saw from the last series, and I'll probably blur together nicely once it is spinning. And then our chip in the center there, which they've gone and accentuated the claws on, as well as some of the other features, looks really nice. Design wise, so just like those two previous bays, main bays from Drum, it is an attack type, but looking a lot more round than Imperial Dragon, but that will change once we get into this gimmick that it has. So I'm just going to show you how that comes about. So when your opponent strikes these sections here and here, we get these side bits which will extend away a bit but then spring back, so giving you a sort of defensive action with that spring back. And then if your opponent strike these other two little sections here hard enough, you will get that same spring back action, but if it is a decent strike, it's going to lock out, and which brings our gimmick into its full awakened state and changes the shape of our bay quite a bit. So let me just get that other one to extend and lock, and there we go. And I like that red that they've gone with on those sections that do come out, and there we are. Very aggressive design to it now, and we're going to increase the attack strength quite a bit with those points being exposed. It can deactivate during battle. It only takes another strike on these 2 points once again to deactivate it. It's quite a bit easier to reverse this gimmick than it was on Imperial Dragon, and I'll just show you. So there we go. There's a little bit of force on those points, and we're back to it's an original state there. Then the weight of the layer, the ring and chip itself is really quite light, which surprised me compared with Imperial Dragon, which has a really heavy layer. I've got him handy. I want to weigh the two up so we can just see what those differences are weight wise, and we'll do Imperial Dragon here first, and he is 29.54, and now our new Tempest Dragon 16.16, so quite a large difference between those two there. It's going to be interesting to see the weight difference once we get them weighed up when Tempest Dragon is pieced together completely. And that is it for our chip and ring. We'll have a look at our chassis next. And they've decided to give us the 1A double chassis, so it's the first attack type chassis that we saw released with Super Hyperion, so it's nothing new, and you can see that attack shape to it. It's got a good amount of weight because it is a double chassis. It's right spinning only, so indicated by the R there, and we've got 4 teeth. They're about average, so not super deep, but still the clicks aren't half bad. And that'll be it for our chassis, and let's move on to that new driver. Just look at that new driver. It looks so clean, and it's called Charged Metal, and you might be wondering why they've called it that, because the original Charge had metal on it too, and that's because they replaced the plastic tip with a metal one now, and I do have him nearby here so you can check out the difference between the two, as well as the tip being hollowed out, so that is going to give us that little bit of extra stamina with that, just like that Zephyr or Zypher, I always say that wrong, driver, which is one of my favorite drivers actually, even though I do call it the wrong thing all the time. And I'm interested to see the weight difference we now have as well. So I'm going to get that weighing machine out again and just place it in front of everything here. And we are starting back up. And we'll do original charge first. So 14.81. And just make sure, yep, more 14.80. And then our new charged metal, 16.06. So a good difference there in favor of the new driver, which you kind of expect because of that change from plastic to metal. And let's piece this thing together because I want to weigh it up while it's completely assembled with Imperial Dragon. Let's get all these parts together and have a listen to those clicks while we're at this. And there we are. So as I said, about average with those teeth, so not the heaviest of clicks, but still these double chassis bays are pretty hard to burst. And finally, weighing machine comes back once again, and let's weigh up Imperial Dragon, which did have the weight advantage on its layer, so 68.64. And now comes our new Tempest Dragon, and whoa, 78 on the dot. That is a heavy bay. Wow, and that would be because of that chassis mainly. So wow, really impressed. All right, let's move to our next bay, which is Curse Satan. Here is that new Curse Satan combo with its chip and ring. And if you are unfamiliar with Curse Satan, we get these rollers surrounding the ring there, which incoming attacks sort of glide off of, decreasing the impact on the bay. And we've got new coloring with the new combo, so a lime green chip there, and the core is a nice metallic silver, which I really like. I'm probably going to use that on some other bays. And then that's also got a bit of gold and silver surrounding the very center of it, and we've got a metallic green going on for the outer part of the ring. And that's pretty much it for this. We're going to be pretty quick with this one. Let's have a look at that chassis next. Which we've got 1D, the single chassis defense type, and the first one that was released. So you can see that defense shape to it with those points that stick out a little bit from that metal surround, and not much metal to it, so it does weigh quite a bit on the light side. Got LR stamp there, so it can be attached to left and right rotating bays. Its teeth are a bit above average, so we've got 4 there, but they are pretty deep. And that'll be it for that nice purple color. And onto our disc, which is, we don't see that often. So it is the Euro disc. We've got the A dash there, and it's quite a light disc. This originally came out with Young Materials, which is a really light bay overall. It's a defense style to it, only small protrusion points on it. And that'll be it for him. And to our driver. Hull Dash is the driver that we get. So I did mention I do not have a Hold driver, so I'm really happy to have gotten one, and a Dash version makes it even better. Does remind me quite a bit of Volcanic, but it's got a lot more play in the tip there than what Volcanic did, as well as having a larger surface to run on, and it is free spinning. A lot more grip to that large surface as well, although there is a flat plastic point that extends out a little bit. So we might get a little bit of stamina from it because of that. And that's it for all of our Cursed Satan parts. Let's piece them together and see how those clicks go with that dash. Alright, here we go. And satisfying click. And then our disc and dash driver. So, wow, there we are. Wow, I just hear that. That sounds dangerous. Really strong clicks, and that's going to be a pretty competitive combo in my opinion. Okay, well, last up we have Naked Diabolos. Lastly, but definitely not least, is our GT babe from this set, Naked Diabolos, and that color looks so good. That red and black making this bay very menacing, especially with the chip there in the center. It goes so well with that design. So the naked layer, very thick. It's a bounced style of layer. Somewhere between stamina, of course, with the weight, attack, defense. So some good gaps in between there. Will give us a small amount of attack and some defense sections to these larger portions on the outside, the very outside. And then we've got our weight, the Goku weight. So something that was very expensive to try and get hold of previously. Went for some ridiculous prices on eBay. I'm talking hundreds of dollars. And let's get that out so we can have a good look at it. So here it is. And wow, sweet design all over it. Does remind you a bit of the Sen weight with all of those sections having a rounded bit on them. Yeah, so I lost focus there for a sec. So one of the heaviest weights you can get, or the heaviest. I do want to put it up against a couple others. So definitely we're going to try it out against a Sen weight, and that weighs up against that weighs up as 7.76, and then our Retsu, which is as far as I know the heaviest one so far. That's 8.72, and then finally, moment of truth, 10.57. So yeah, definitely the heaviest weight that I am aware of. Okay, well, let's move on to our disc core. And for that, we've got 11, which isn't the newest of disc cores. If I'm honest, I think it came out during the Cho-Z series of bays. It's not that heavy either. Quite a bit on the light side. It's pretty well balanced. Not much else I can say about it. You can attach a frame, of course, to it, but other than that, we'll move on to our last new part, that driver, of which I am really interested to take a look at. So it is called Wave, and there is no real indicator from its design as to why it is called that. I'd say that might come down to the way it performs, but even then I'm not too sure what that does have to do with the name. So it has this jagged surround to the tip there, that might bring us some grip, but then we've got this very outer ring as well, and I expect some stadium contact with that, especially once we start to slow down. And then the inner part of that surround there, it's rather wide and flat except for the very point of it, which we get a small protrusion of flat plastic. So some interesting features, and actually now that I do think about it, that might be why it's called Wave, because it goes through so many design changes as it slows down, I guess, or as you change its angle from launching. But anyway, let's piece this in together, and we're going to grab that stadium out and see how everything performs. And I did forget to mention the teeth on our Diabolos there. If you are unfamiliar, it does have 3 teeth on one side and 2 on the other. They are quite deep, which makes them fairly strong, and we'll see just how strong this combination is with those clicks. And amazingly, I also forgot that it is a left rotating bay. So there we go. Here we go. First off, we've got Tempest Dragon. And 3, 2, 1, go shoot. So actually bouncing around quite a bit there. Wow, during its initial launch, and we're slowing back down, so we get some nice movement from that tip, and because of how much weight we're carrying as well, some decent stamina, and that does seem to be blurring together a bit, that rainbow stickering, not as much as I thought it might. Well, that is it for Tempest Dragon. And next up, we've got Curse Satan with that hold driver. And 3, 2, 1, go shoot, or hold dash. And I do expect a lot of movement here. There we go. And settling down a little bit quicker than I thought, but that's could be due to being launched on that little bit of an angle and spinning a bit first before we got to take off. There we are. And last up, naked Diabolos with that new wave driver. And let's see what it's going to do. So they seem to be hitting that very tip of it, and it had a weird movement just then, but it's settled back down, and I'm going to stop that there because I want to angle launch it and see what sort of action we get when I do that. So it does give us that little bit more movement and small wobble, and back to a standstill, and one last really harsh angle. And there we go through all those actions, and okay, well, it seemed to be rolling a bit on that slope there, and well, that produced something a bit different, and skids on that very outer ring. Okay, well, interesting to say the least. That will be it for this unboxing folks, I hope you like the video. And until next time, enjoy the rest of your day.